Today, President Biden announced that he will pardon U.S. veterans convicted of having same-sex relationships once a crime under military law. This follows a year-long CBS News investigation that revealed how LGBTQ+ veterans were still saddled with less than honorable discharges and, in some cases, criminal convictions more than a decade after Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. Chief Investigative Correspondent Jim Axelrod has been on this story from the start.
As my sexual identity blossomed, I battled with how to live the covert double life that was required of LGBTQ military members at that time.
Steve Morose was an Air Force officer in the late 1980s before the military found out he was gay and put him on trial.
You were looking at 17 years in prison.
I was. 5 years per sodomy charge and a year per conduct unbecoming charge.
He was sentenced to 2 years in a military prison.
I thought my military life was over, but in that moment, I thought my life was over.
Last year, when we spoke, he was still hoping for the day when the government would make things right.
They have the ability to look back and say, people who are hanging under the weight of something that is no longer valid should be made whole.
And today, word of that long-awaited redemption arrived. President Biden announced former service members who were convicted of crimes solely for being gay could apply for pardons, clearing their records and potentially having VA benefits restored.
It is, for many, a lifetime that they have been carrying this.
Jocelyn Larkin is representing a group of LGBTQ veterans suing the Pentagon.
It's a wonderful step forward, but there's so much more work to be done. But we welcome any recognition of the injustice that this group of people has been experiencing.
For Steve Morose, it's recognition that is decades past due.
What could be bigger than restoring someone's humanity? A sense of justice to somebody's life.
Especially if you're that person, nothing.
Steve Morose tells us he hasn't been contacted by anyone yet, but that he is ecstatic to hear the news. The pardons are not automatic. Veterans will have to apply to prove they are eligible. Once they receive that certificate of pardon, they can go to their military branch and apply to have their discharge characterization changed, which the White House says should unlock access to critical VA benefits down the road. The White House could not say how long that process would take or exactly how many service members this will affect. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.